Hold back, hold back.
Get back!
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. The video that I'm dropping tonight is a little look into what's been going on this past week, even though it's been going on for a few months, of all the protest and chaos that the left is bringing on the American public, and how now, regardless of what the left has been saying, trying to make it seem as if this is all organic, it seems that there's been a couple of attacks on law enforcement and ICE agents. One of them happening, I believe it was on July 4th, that the media is not really talking about, but also a call, and get this, people, a call for blood. Okay, you heard that right. Supposedly people on the left are wanting their political leaders, okay, to draw blood. Okay, this is not me making this up. This is not a dog whistle. This is not me trying to, spread something out that is not true, because I'm going to read the article and show you the video clip so you guys get a better understanding of what's going on. But that's what's going on, and this is something that's very concerning. And the left, okay, are trying to make it seem still as if all of this is happening because of President Trump's policies. So we're going to get into it so you guys can see what's going on. So stick with me, because we got quite a bit to cover. Here we go. Okay, this first video clip that I'm going to show was all these protesters, okay, going against ICE, and how, in my opinion, how the right, okay, does not seize the moment, and not seizing the moment just for a photo op or just to get brownie points or anything like that from their voters. How the right is not pushing in Congress for the Democrats to be held responsible for all this chaos is beyond me. Okay, me personally, I don't think they're pushing back hard enough. I'm gonna play some of this video clip. Okay, it goes on for 14 minutes. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but I just want you guys to see what's going on, okay, of how now it's getting more physical with these protests, okay, against ICE agents. And then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about the ICE agent and police officers that were shot at. Here we go. This is insane. I hate to say it, but when all these people gather in a group and they're doing this, and just listening to these women scream as if they're the victims, it boils my blood, because they put themselves in this situation and they know that they're doing wrong. They know that they're blocking these ICE agents from doing their job. And then when the ICE agents want to go and pull them away, they start screaming as if they're being attacked, okay, for no reason. And it totally, it seriously pisses me off, because it's like, you know what? I have watched so much of these instances. There's so many videos, let's just say the past week, okay, just the past week. And I never call for violence or anything like that. If you know my channel, you know my content, I never call for violence. But I have seen 9 out of 10 times, okay, and those are like the best odds you're going to get. 9 out of 10 times where ICE agents, law enforcement, whatever the case is, the way they have reframed, the way they have kept their composure, okay, from not getting like seriously physical by using their billy clubs, whatever the case is, like really going after these people and just taking them out. They have showed such composure on not doing that. Okay? Just to see more and more people on the left jump into these situations and just seriously get in these law enforcement faces in their way, trying to stop them. And then to have like the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, you know, making a spectacle of herself, making it seem like she wants all these ICE agents out. You know, she's just one example. And it's like, you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea the fire that you're feeding, while the whole time, like I said, calling people on the right, calling these ICE agents racist and fascist, and now the new buzzword, okay, the new dog whistle is that on the mainstream media, social media, everybody is using the word kidnapping. They're kidnapping people. They're kidnapping people, and they're repeating it on and on and on and on. And it's like, it's incredible. It is totally incredible. And what they're doing, they are feeding so much hate into society. These politicians just keep using the same trigger words, and they are causing the division and the hate. And hats off to everyone who has stayed composed, not to stoop to their level. In other words, an eye for an eye. Okay? And that goes for the civilians, that goes for the politicians, that goes for the law enforcement. Hats off to you that you're not stooping on that level to basically make it a 1-for-1. But damn it, these people on the left, they just do not stop. Let's continue. I mean, like I said, I'm only going to play some of this video because it's infuriating to watch the whole thing. But I'll play some and we'll get to the next videos. And look at, I mean, it's like, and one of the tactics that they do is like when they're trying to bring somebody out, the crowd, they'll jump on that person and hold that person. And it's like, and here's the thing, this is in New York, okay? Mayor Adams is still the mayor. This is why I don't trust Mayor Adams, because he says that he was going to not interfere in what President Trump wants to do. He's over here kissing President Trump's ass. But here's the thing. He himself can tell the NYPD to give ICE a hand, and he doesn't. We already know that Kathy Hochul's not going to do it. Okay, that's just a given. But Mayor Adams, okay, who from what I know is basically in charge of the police to a big degree. You would think that they would have the NYPD there pushing these protesters back so that they don't interfere with these federal agents, and they are physically getting involved. Not physically in the sense that they're protesting, no. They are hands-on physically interrupting what's going on. But yet, you had the Biden administration, they used a tracking system in order to ping people's phones that were at the Capitol, people that were nowhere near the Capitol. They were way behind in the crowds. They were able to go and do that and arrest all those people that didn't even get anywhere near as physical as this. And the Republicans right now are doing nothing to lay down the hammer and stop this bullshit. Let's watch a little more and we'll get to the next video clip. And this goes on for 14 minutes straight, and it's just mind-boggling. Look at the way they're jumping. on top of the vehicle, in front of the vehicle. And you see what I'm saying? The constraint that these federal agents have not to go and really get physical with them. I mean, my hat's off to them. And I say that because look at what happened on January 6th. You had a big crowd trying to breach the door of the Capitol, okay? And that punk of a security guard pulled out his gun and shot a woman dead, an unarmed woman dead. And they weren't even anywhere near doing this, okay, to the law enforcement that was at the Capitol. Meanwhile, these people are jumping on the cars. They're attacking the ICE agents. They're jumping in their way. They're trying to stop them from taking the person that they're looking for, okay? And these cops are holding back. These agents are holding back from getting really physical because the left is telling them if you get physical, people are going to get in trouble. And not that I want them to get physical, but look at the difference, okay? The double standard, the hypocrisy. And you would think that Capitol Hill right now would be on fire as far as like the Republicans, like really laying it on thick to the Democrats, because it's the Democrats that are out there blowing all these dog whistles, using all these trigger words, and not saying a damn thing about how these protesters are doing things. Okay, but enough with this. Like I said, it's 14 minutes. If you want to see it, the New York Post put it out. I mean, if you can stomach it for the whole 14 minutes, I mean, you're a better person than me. Okay, but we're gonna go now to what's going on with the police and federal agents that have been attacked and shot at. And when I tell you shot at, one of them got shot in the neck. Here we go.
Here at your screen, we have a post here from the Department of Homeland Security and a developing story at this time. They say this, a quote, this morning an individual opened fire at the entrance of the United States Border Patrol sector annex in McAllen, Texas. Both Border Patrol agents and local police helped neutralize the shooter. It goes on to say 2 officers and a Border Patrol employee were injured, including 1 shot in the knee. All 3 have gone to the hospital. This is an ongoing investigation led by the FBI. I want to reference as well some of the reporting that we have courtesy of Fox News Digital, in which they do say that an active shooter armed with tactical gear and a rifle opened fire upon Border Patrol, again, there in that facility in McAllen, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley, happening today. Agents and local police returned fire and it killed the gunman, and no federal agents were hit, but 1 McAllen police officer was struck. Law enforcement sources say the officer is in stable condition. We also have a statement from the Department of Homeland Security to Fox News, taking a look here at your screen for that statement, in which they say this, again, there, that quote, this morning an individual opened fire at the entrance. It's the statement that I just also referenced with that post on X from DHS. Law enforcement officials, they do believe the attack was a purposeful ambush targeting Border Patrol officials. Local police say they will hold a news conference on this attack later on today. We'll be on the lookout for that live feed and that camera. Now, this incident, Fox News goes on to say in their online story, it comes just days after another Texas police officer was shot. They were shot Friday night near U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility in Prairieland. So we'll continue to follow the latest with this story and see if we do get that news conference later on today. Of course, we'll bring it to you live and in full, as we always do.
Okay, that was this one. I said the neck. That was on the other story. This guy was shot in the knee, and they wind up neutralizing the shooter in this one. But on the next video clip, I'll show you where there was another attack, and there was a bunch of people involved. There was like 11 people, I think, so far. One of them's on the run, or whatever the case is. And it was a guy that was shooting. They lured agents out, okay, using fireworks. And when they came out, somebody in the woods that was supposedly with them opened fire, shooting one in the neck. They airlifted him, and I mean, just shot a bunch of bullets at the facility, hitting the door and stuff like that. I mean, this has just gotten to the point that it's like now they're using weapons, and I didn't want to say anything to this effect a week ago, 2 weeks ago, saying, in other words, saying that this is going to get out of hand in this way, because when they say don't wish anything into existence, but now that it's happened, it's not surprising, because this is where it was headed. Okay, let's not be naive here, people. This is where it was headed, and this is exactly what the left wants, and this is exactly what the powers that be and the rhinos want. They want this chaos. They want this to blow out of proportion. Okay, this is what they want, because if they didn't want this, they can tone down the rhetoric, but they just keep amping it up every day on every news station. Okay, they amp it up. Every politician is out there on the left ramping it up. It just goes on and on and on. But we'll get to the next video clip, and then we'll get to what I was saying about where now voters on the left are telling their elected officials that they want blood. Okay, here we go.
They will not stop ambushing ICE and Border Patrol because they intend to ambush America. And that's the angle. Here with more details is Nancy Larson, acting U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Nancy, thank you for joining us tonight. What can you tell us about the background of these suspects? We have to say they're alleged to have carried out these acts. But based on all the propaganda found with them, could this be Antifa or another anarchist-related organization?
Well, thank you, Laura, for having me. I will say at this point, I think the evidence presented in the complaint speaks for itself, and that there are conclusions that can be drawn that are apparent from what was said and done. We have seen fascist pigs, ICE pigs, profanity. That was the graffiti that was sprayed at the ICE facility, and also the leaflets and brochures that we found on the person of those involved in this assault and attempted murder, and also in the location that we searched. So I think it's fair to say that this is an anarchist ideology, it's an anti-government ideology, and it has turned to violence.
Do you see the possibility, Nancy, of additional charges here? I know there's attempted murder, federal law enforcement, other charges as well. But down the road, or maybe not so far down the road, could there be a RICO conspiracy complaint drawn up against these individuals and others across the country who are clearly in some way, shape, or form organizing for these types of violent activities?
Laura, all of those charges are on the table as the investigation continues and we learn more. As you probably know, a complaint is a charging document that usually has one or two charges in it that serves to hold the individuals that are charged with the crimes. However, when we go to indictment in a case, we usually have had more time to investigate, and at that point, if it does go to indictment, we will add additional charges, I'm sure. And when I say if it does go to indictment, you know that sometimes people, when they see the overwhelming evidence, they do plead guilty. Now, all we have are allegations at this point, and nobody has said anything about pleading guilty, but that's just how the criminal process works.
Well, this is the way I see it, okay? I don't think you need anybody here to plead guilty for all this, because they were all caught in that, after what was happened, they were all arrested. And yeah, it should be a RICO conspiracy. It should be every single thing, okay, thrown at them the way they threw it at innocent people that were at the rally on January 6th that they said was an insurrection. They literally went after people that were way behind the crowd, nowhere near the Capitol, in the crowd, but nowhere in the front, in basically the front lines. They still went after these people, and they put them in the gulags, okay, of Washington, D.C., okay, for 4 years. None of them were ever convicted of an insurrection, but the judge kept them there, the police officials kept them there, the freaking Democrats kept them in there, all because, you know what, they were all part of this big conspiracy. Call it a RICO charge, whatever the hell you want to call it. They held them all accountable of who they can get their hands on. But yet we catch these people in the act, part of it, okay? Why can't we do the same? Why? And this is why I get upset with the Republicans, because they don't freaking push back hard enough. They don't push back hard enough. And it makes me wonder. It's like what's going on in Portland right now with that ICE facility in Portland. As of yesterday, it's been what, 32, 33 days straight, all day long, where even the people in the neighborhood are complaining, and now those Antifa members are going after the residents, their own neighbors, for complaining of the nonstop noise, the nonstop chaos, 24 hours a day. Why does it always have to be, okay, when it comes to all this chaos and violence? Why is it, and like I said, I'm not calling for chaos and violence myself, but why is it that the left can get away with it en masse? This is throughout the country. Nothing has changed since 2016. Okay? Can anybody, and I'm asking anybody, and not that the left is going to admit to it, but can anybody tell me, since 2016 up until today, have we gone 1 month with not a single protest or some kind of rioting from the left? And the answer to that, if I had to guess, is no. It's been non-freaking stop for the past 10 years, man. Non-stop. With some sort of protest from the left, some sort of chaos, just some sort of anarchy, just something to disrupt the lives of everyday Americans. And the Republicans, besides President Trump and his cabinet, the Republicans, for the most part, have not done a damn thing to push back on this hard. And the Democrats are laughing at us, the leftists are laughing at us, and like I said, hats off to everybody on the right who has held their composure. That's what we need. But when are people going to start getting arrested en masse in front of these facilities, putting their hands on federal agents, whatever the case is, on police officers, even on just regular civilians, and get locked up and just throw the damn key away? Because that's exactly what the left has been doing to people on the right. Okay? Let's finish off this video and we'll get to the next one.
Two of the suspects, the 10, I know there was another who was arrested for some obstruction, but two of them, was showing their pictures on screen, had aliases listed in the complaint. Cameron Arnold, a.k.a. Autumn Hill, Bradford Morris, a.k.a. Megan Morris. What do we know about them? Are these transgendered persons? Were they in disguise? What can you tell us?
You know, I say it doesn't matter, like, I'm not saying it like I'm on their side. I'm saying it doesn't matter to bring it up because we already know who the perpetrators are on the left. Okay? It's the transgender people. It's Antifa, Black Lives Matter, you name it. They're out there. They're the cause of it. The pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, what is it now? Iran, Muslim extremists. It doesn't matter. All these leftists that are fighting, for all this anarchy, that's who it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it doesn't matter, because it's not surprising. It's really not surprising. Even with all those transgender assholes that wind up shooting up all the nightclubs and killing people, the mainstream media didn't want to talk about that because it was one of their own doing it. While the whole time screaming that transgender people are the ones under attack. But yeah, you have transgender people out there causing all this chaos. And it's like, does it even matter to call out who it is? We already know who the usual suspects are. It's ridiculous, man. But let's continue.
Well, the disguises that were used were the military-type garb that all of these people were wearing, as if they were some sort of, special forces team attacking the ICE facility. In terms of the use of the different names, what is typical in our charging documents is that we list aliases and all names associated with the people so that each individual is fully identified. Beyond that, it's early in the investigation, and I really don't have anything else to add in terms of their identities.
Just one more question.
Yeah, figures. Anyway, it is what it is, but I get it. I just wanted to play this clip because this is one of the better clips I got. But now we're going to go to supposedly one of them who had gotten away, and I believe he's still on the loose. Here we go.
Right now, there's a statewide blue alert for a man accused of shooting and injuring an Alvarado police officer on the 4th of July. Now, you might have gotten the alert on your phone tonight. According to the FBI, Benjamin Hanil Song took part in an ambush on law enforcement at an ICE detention facility near Fort Worth. Again, the incident happened 5 days ago, and investigators say people dressed in black military-style clothing started shooting fireworks and vandalizing the facility. They say someone shot an Alvarado police officer in the neck. Someone else shot 20 to 30 rounds at corrections officers.
It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers.
The FBI is offering a reward of up to $25,000 for information leading to Song's arrest.
There you go, folks. If you guys see him, be careful. If you can get him arrested, make that money. You know, because this is just insane. These are people that do not understand. 77 plus million Americans, okay, got fed up with what's going on with you people on the left, and we voted for certain things, and now you people want to come and disrupt that. And you think that by being violent, okay, that you're making your point. Where is all this protesting and violence? And I shouldn't say violence, I'll take that back. But where is all this first-hand boots on the ground protest for all the innocent people that have been victims of illegal migrant criminals? And you know what? And let's even just take that out the way. Okay? Let's take that out the way for once. Where's all your protest when American-born when American-born criminals are committing crimes just against Americans, just everyday criminals, because there's some out there that commit some heinous crimes? Where's all your protests for that? You won't even protest against that. But you're going to protest to keep illegal immigrants here who have committed crimes. So you won't protest against kicking them out. I should say you won't protest to get them kicked out. You won't protest to go after regular American-born criminals, which tells me that, you know what? You people are the damn problem. You people are the ones that want all this chaos. Okay? You do not care about innocent life. You only care about what you perceive to be innocent. And all you do is just show people that, you know what? You people like you are part of the damn problem. Okay? But you know what? For sake of time, I'm going to minimize this and go to the article. And it says right here, okay, Democrats are telling their representatives they want blood in the streets. I mean, when I read this, and it's coming out on the news, but not as much as it should. Let me maximize this. It blows my mind. It really does. Okay, that the Democrats won't even really speak about this. Okay, the way they should. And at the same time, they won't even tone down the rhetoric. They just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. Okay? It says Axios has a blockbuster story about how Democrat Party activists are literally asking for blood in their fight against Trump. Democrat lawmakers are getting a harsh reality check, according to a new Axios report that claims many of their voters want violence. Not just any old Democrat Party violence either, but the blood of the electorate. In other words, they want their Democrat politicians to, in other words, to be like martyrs, to put their lives on the line, even if it costs them their own blood. It's insane the way these people think. It really is. It says, just like their pre-Civil War Southern Democrat predecessors, they are braying for blood. Okay, itching for civil war to ensure slavery continued. So, same party, same fight. Now they want bloodshed in defense of oppression, suppression of individual rights, destruction of equality for all before the law, and the ruin of our nation. Don't expect the dying legacy media to report on this. They are complicit. It's not that they're complicit. It's part of their plan. They're not being complicit. Let's get rid of that word. I've been saying it for months. This is not about them being complicit. This is part of their evil agenda. And they know it, and because all they're going to do is keep blaming all this on President Trump and the right. That's all they're going to do. Okay, that they will stoop so low to not even talk against their constituents by saying, listen, you guys can't expect this, you can't be doing this. But they won't, because they're going to play the blame game against everybody on the right. Believe me when I tell you. Many lawmakers said these voters trend to be white. Look at that, well-educated and live in upscale suburban or urban neighborhoods. What I have seen is a demand that we get ourselves arrested intentionally or allow ourselves to be victims of violence. And a lot of times that's coming from economically very secure white people, said an 8th House Democrat. Not only, what the hell does this have to do with white people? Do you see the gosh, let me calm my nerves here for a second. Okay. But do you see this demonic split-tongue ideology? Here is a Democrat, okay, that all of a sudden has to put race into it. But yet all you see out there, people that are protesting, they're all mixed. They're white, they're black, they're Hispanic, they're Muslim. They're all mixed. The ones that are out there protesting, they are all mixed. I'm telling you, this shit is demonic, man. Okay, let me get back. It says a lot of times that's coming from economically very secure white people, said an 8th House Democrat. Not only would that be a gift to Donald Trump, not only would it make the job of Republicans in Congress easier if we were all mired in legal troubles. We are a group that is disproportionately people of color, women, rainbow mafia people who do not fare very well in prison. The bottom line, the expectations aren't just unreal, they're dangerous, the 8th House Democrat said. There you go. Just by saying that, it's going to be a gift to Donald Trump. It's like how these people can talk like this and other people to accept it as fact and go along with it. I'm telling you, okay, the enemy is out there rampant, taking over the minds of politicians. I seen a video yesterday, okay, we'll continue with this in a minute, where in some of the comments, the people were leaving scripture of the battle that we fight is not against flesh and blood, it's a battle against, the rulers of evil, and I'm sorry that I don't get the whole thing right, but it's because my mind's I'm pissed off right now. But then somebody left a comment below that and said to read the Geneva Bible the way it's written. And in the Geneva Bible, in that Bible verse, it specifically points out people in government, because those people in government basically are the ones that will be in charge and spewing all this kind of rhetoric that is going to rile up the masses to go and do more evil doing. Okay? And that is what we have right now with the Democrat Party, with the left, with the rhinos. And not just here in America, this is worldwide, where you have politicians doing this, but yet pointing the finger, like here in the United States, saying that it's because of President Trump's rhetoric that all these people are causing all this chaos. Listen, if somebody is making you do this, then that's not the problem. You are the problem, because you're freaking weak-minded. That's why. Okay? It goes on to say, David Strom. Wait, did I skip something here? No, okay. Sorry. It says, David Strom, remember when democracy itself was at stake if Trump won? It says, the Democrats weren't kidding. Their view is that unless they win by democratic means, they will use other means to get their way. Okay? And that's basically what it is. As a matter of fact, in this picture right here of all these people that were caught, these two people are related right here. Okay, I don't know if they're husband and wife, brother and sister, whatever the case is. But it's like they're bringing people, they're bringing in their family members, their friends, and they're just coaxing each other to go and do stuff like this, and to want to take part in the murder of somebody. It doesn't matter if it's a civilian or law enforcement, because you're being told lies of what's going on, and then your only excuse is that, you know what, we're not the problem. It's because of what one man is saying. No, you are the problem, because you do not have the mental strength in order to say, you know what, even though this person is pissing me off, I as an individual will not let that person bring out the ugly in me enough to want to go and kill somebody. And this is why I say hats off to everybody on the right, and even people on the left that are waking up and saying, I want no part of this. Okay? Because these are evil, demonic people with a demonic agenda that are perpetrating all this and doing all this and putting innocent people's lives at risk. And they don't even care why. Because they don't even care of the innocent people that have fell victim to all these illegal migrant criminals that have come in and have raped and murdered and just done the worst of the worst to their own and American citizens. Okay? I mean, it's just totally insane the way they keep it up. This was just a small article, but I covered that already. It says, in recent days, ICE agents and other federal law enforcement officers conducting immigration enforcement have been targeted. I just looked it up for reference. The first one we saw was that whole group of people, and then this one here, which was in Portland, Oregon. And this is something they're not talking about in the news, okay? A gunman shot an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, and 3 suspects were arrested. It says the Department of Homeland Security is pursuing criminal charges for anyone obstructing ICE, yada, yada, yada. But that's another one in Portland, Oregon, again, with gunfire. So you have it going on in Texas, you have it going on in Oregon, you got what's going on in New York with people jumping in the way of ICE agents and just getting physical with them out in the street. And then you have supposedly people on the right telling their Democrat elected officials they want them to draw blood, to lose their own blood. You can't make this shit up, people. You just can't make it up. And this is the state of affairs that we're at. And if you look at what's going on worldwide, especially with what's going on in Britain, in the UK, in Ireland, the same thing is going on. Okay? Where the citizens and patriots of America and all these other countries are trying to fight against all this chaos, and the politicians on the left in the US and worldwide, they are on the side of all this chaos and anarchy. Okay? While the whole time saying they're on the right side of history, and that we're the enemies, we're the fascists, we're the ones that are causing them to do all this. And that's not even the case, because they don't even want to know what is going on. They're ignoring the innocent people that are falling victim to all these illegals, not only here in the United States, but in other countries that are committing crimes and hurting innocent people, mostly women and children. And they won't stand against that. They let it go, and they want to have their cake and eat it too. Okay? I mean, it's beyond me. This is definitely a battle that's not against flesh and blood. It is a spiritual battle. And the enemy has his fingers on all these soft, butter-brained people's minds that they can go and do this. And not only that, there are many of them that are for it because they like it. They love it. This is what they want. Let's not be naive to that. Okay? Let's not be naive to it. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. And if you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and my merch store. And please, leave a thumbs up, leave messages, pass this around. It helps with the algorithm. We got to get the channel growing. It's been a little stagnant, I'm not going to lie, but, we definitely got to push this word out. And on all the channels that are putting this out, not just my own, okay? We have to call out all this chaos, okay? By any means, we have to call it out. And people need to be held responsible and held accountable. So remember, people, stay vigilant, Keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, pray for this country, pray for your families, pray for your enemies, pray for President Trump, and don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.